Well, hello, welcome to Amateur Decorating Like a Pro. I am Catherine.
Well, as you know, we started in the living room this year. I wanted to be inspired by all of the colors. 2022, we did red. And then 2023, we went with the peacock theme. Now I'm all in with the pink. So I started my typical way. I laid on that inexpensive $5.99 garland with lights, and then I added that Sonoma garland from Walmart on top. Then I pulled the lights through from the bottom garland to the top, so the staircase doesn't look so dark. I'm still on a budget, guys. There will be 3 vignettes on the staircase this year. We'll start with this one, which will include 3 lanterns on the top of the hallway landing. And just like last year, we're going to use those flickering LED candles that are battery operated. I'll cut my portion of foam for each of the lanterns. It'll be placed at the very bottom, and I'm going to add hot glue to the top of the foam, and then I'll place the lantern on top. This entire thing will be sitting on top of the garland. Now, I prefer to buy the large foam like you just saw and then cut it to the sizes that I need, because sometimes those little remnants really do come in handy for smaller projects. So as you can see here, I am cutting the stems and using some really good wire cutters. You want to have really good wire cutters when you are dealing with florals. I say the heavier, the better. I'm also going ahead and staging where the actual flowers will be in the arrangement. This will make sure that there is a sense of balance, and I'm not putting a certain color in one area. But even if I did, that will look great too, but I prefer to spread things out. You can see here my little pine cone DIY pick. Yeah, those are skewers. And you know how you do this? When the hot glue is cooling down in your gun and it's still coming out, then you can use it to make these little skewered pine cones. It's so much easier to maneuver, and it quickly gets the job done when it is cooling down. I'm actually scraping a little bit of the paint off of the bottom of the lantern, almost as if I had a piece of sandpaper or a nail file. And I am going to now place the candle holder there once again. It basically got a little too hot up in the attic. And there they are. I've already tested those with the batteries and the remote control. So I'm going to continue on with putting my picks into the foam. As you can see here, I'm also adding glue to some of the tips because they might just slip out of the foam because they're just really, really thin. And here I am adding hot glue to the top of that foam. I added a whole lot more than what you actually see filmed here because I wanted to make sure that lantern was there to stay. So this is how it looks from the back, and of course you will not see the foam hanging over the edge. I've got plenty of extra leaves and things glued to it so you don't see it. I also use fishing line to secure the lanterns to the actual spindles, sorry. This is how I did the ribbon. I don't have a whole lot, so I just made 3 little loops here, and the tails are sticking out left and right. I want more. I would rather have had those on the top of the lanterns, but this is all I have for now. We'll see what happens in the end. I managed to locate these large resin reindeer from Walmart with the help of the channel Glamorous Penny Pincher, Chalomi. She has them, and she has them in black. I do too, for now. So I needed to do a few updates. Right, to paint these reindeer, I had them in the garage, and then it started raining and getting cold. Then I ended up bringing them onto the patio where it got even colder. So I ended up with them on the kitchen counter. So it was like chasing the reindeer all over the house to get this project done. I am using chalk paint that I purchased from Walmart, and this is old chalk paint. It is white linen. I have it in standard supply. Every time I see it there, I know I'm going to need it for something, whether it's artwork or whether it's to do a simple DIY project like this. I use it as a primer. So it is chalk paint. Notice how I'm painting it. I'm just basically just whisking that brush all over it in crazy directions because it's going to give it some texture. It's going to go from a smooth surface to a very rugged and distressed finish. And I love that because when I put that final finish on there, which you'll see in just a minute, you're gonna love it. There it is. This is the Rust-Oleum Pearl finish. Absolutely gorgeous. Once sold at Lowe's, but no longer. You will have to buy it on Amazon. I will put it in a link below. And the same technique that I used to paint it, I can't even talk. The same technique that I used to paint with the chalk paint is the same technique I am applying with this Rust-Oleum Pearl finish. And it is gorgeous. You don't have to fill in every single spot. You want that look of distress. And it's going to make it look like it is an actual sculpture. Isn't it gorgeous? Including the wreath finish around the neck. Now, if I had some rub and buff in gold that wasn't all dried out, I would have covered that wreath with a few touches of that with my fingertips and gloves, and it would have been stunning. So, since I don't, I just will carry on with this pearl finish, lightly brush it on. The pearl finish dries in a matter of minutes. The chalk paint, 2 coats of that. It took about, I just was safe and sound. I let it dry overnight. And then, of course, I did every part of the deer, including the deer horns, guys. So it looked like Deer Jurassic Park in the kitchen for a minute. And continue to paint. Again, if you can get some rub and buff and go around the wreath, around the neck, that would be stunning. Now, if I didn't paint them, I was going to use them outside on the front porch. But since I did, and this gorgeous pearl finish, yes, I'm using them on the landing. They look super expensive, don't they? And on the outside of that corner, I added a few ornaments, some picks, and a few scraps of ribbon. I think it looks pretty good. Now on to number 3, the introduction to our small foyer for the holidays. So this has got to be a focal point when you open the door. This is my introduction for Christmas and the color palette. So here we go. I wrapped a strand of lights around the post underneath the spindles, and I secured it with pipe cleaners. I added multiple layers of pipe cleaners up and down the post. Then I inserted these thick, long-stemmed florals, and they fit right underneath the spindles, and I love it. It looks like a lantern coming to life. Oh my God, this is so absolutely gorgeous. So I'm able to insert the florals, I'm able to insert additional picks, and this is all secured by the pipe cleaners. I did one other thing. Hang on. The florals are gorgeous, and we are going to need more impact underneath them. So I am going to add more foam. Remember I said when you buy the big block, you'll have little remnants left. You can glue them together. And I am going to insert those underneath. And by the way, I'm only using 5 of these large flowers, just 5. And I'm going to take a separate piece of the garland that's a cut piece and just wrap it around on the outside of the spindles, covering up this foam that I'm adding. So now I'm able to add picks, any variety, cut pieces, whole pieces, whatever I can find. Most of my Christmas decorations are loaded with scraps from around the house. And that way we'll have beautiful impact. So there's that cut piece that I am adding around there just to cover up all of the ugly stuff underneath it, shall I say. Well, I've created 3 simple vignettes on the staircase. I used natural, faux, and old remnants, and everything I believe came together beautifully. I did not add something to every single space along the garland. I sprinkled my dominant color, like that hot, strong pink, in each of the vignettes so that everything appears cohesive, even though the vignettes are separated. And that's how you want to do it, guys. So if you're going to use black or red or green, whatever you're going to do, and you don't have a lot of it, just sprinkle it around so it will appear to be cohesive throughout your space. I am going to change colors in a couple of weeks because I've got to get into the family room. But you see how the pink on the reindeer, as well as at the bottom of the stairs and at the top of the stairs, it connects. So it gets a little dull, then it gets a little bright, it gets a little muted, but nevertheless, my story is consistent. You got this, guys. Go ahead, dive in and do what you gotta do to make your home festive on a budget this holiday season.
Thanks a lot for watching. And as always, stay in prayer and stay creative.